the...
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Disclaimer first, right? The opinions of the whose guests and any callers and anyone who comments are not representative of the opinion of Mr. Singer's employer, anyone associated with Gloves Off. How's everybody doing? Today's November 3rd. What is Thursday? Thursday, November 3rd, right? How many more days to election? We have, it's Tuesday, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to 5 days to the general election. So we appreciate everybody who's voted early, either by going out to the polls or mail-in ballot like I have. It's kind of interesting to know. Do you know that if there are people out there that can sit there and say, no, that person's not a registered voter, and they put the ballots on the side and they don't count them until they verify that person's a registered voter? You can sit there at the polls and say, hey, that person right there, I don't think they're a registered voter, and they'll take their ballot and they'll put it to the side, and they won't count it until they verify. So they'll let you vote, but they won't count it until they can verify that you're a registered voter. That's the plan that's what I hear the plan is anyway.
So I can go there and just point people out that.
Yeah. That's what they're doing now.
All right, sounds like fun.
That's crazy, isn't it?
We'll take a day off and just go hang out.
How's everybody doing? Anyway, I want to do a shout out for anybody. There's a bunch of people I guess that have send me emails and text messages asking me how I'm doing health-wise and how my surgeries were and everything. And I really appreciate that. One specific shout out, it's funny too, is to Bev Gerald, who actually texted me to find out how I was doing. And since she and I never agree on anything, for her to reach out to see how I was doing, I really appreciate it. Also to let everybody know that I will be taking December off. And I will be doing one more show in November prior to the runoff because of there's going to be a runoff in Palmetto Bay. So other than that, I'm going to be focusing on my health a little. You got a problem with that?
No, but I was going to say, how many messages did you get for people wishing you wouldn't come out? How many people wish you an unhealthy recovery?
Don't kill yourself. Don't kid yourself. I got to tell you something. There's a councilman, Palmetto Bay councilman, who we always mention his name. We're not mentioning his name because I'm just not going to give him the time of day. Anyway, so he and Mayor Karen Cunningham have sent out have said some really nasty things about my health. I mean, can you imagine sitting there? I mean, I understand politics is cruel and unusual, and you can actually see, you can look at that to see Paul Pelosi, see the stuff. The guy's not even in politics, and he's getting destroyed because he was beaten up by somebody. Have you read? You don't ever read anything. That's the problem. You're so busy working. So anyway, so Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's husband, somebody broke into their house and beat the hell out of him. He's like 82 years old with a hammer, and they're making jokes about it. Yeah. Are you watching that?
No,
Liam, are you watching that?
That was absurd.
Is that crazy? But they're making all kinds of jokes. This 82-year-old guy's beat up by a guy with a hammer. He was going to the guy was from Canada, which you think is the most non-violent country in the world, right?
The guy who beat him up was from
Canada. The guy who beat him up was from Canada, the most non-violent. He wasn't even supposed to be in the United States. He was going to kidnap Nancy Pelosi and break her knees. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So he's been arrested, right? He's been charged with attempted murder, kidnapping, and a whole bunch of whole array of stuff, right? So they're saying so Republicans came out and they say, oh no, he wasn't beaten up. It was his gay lover. He was. I mean, they come over here. And they're making memes about. I have friends that sent me memes about it being his gay lover and everything, and he wasn't.
And that's not funny. I mean,
it's just not funny, right? So that's basically what this council person did, from Palmetto Bay, is he sent out memes, he sent out email or whatever else on my health. But I mean, if you're going to start joking about somebody's health, or even worse, what went on with Paul Pelosi, I mean, this poor 82-year-old guy getting the shit kicked out of him, with a hammer and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, come on, seriously, can we do better as a country?
The internet will bite on anything, or I mean, people who make fun of stuff on the internet.
I know, but can we not do better as a society?
Well, but I think
than to make fun of somebody's health issues.
Yeah, but I think that's the whole point. I think because people egg these people on and actually celebrate it, that it encourages people to do more of these kind of stupid things. I mean, it is sad.
Well, the only person that I know that eggs it on is our ex-president, who I would have hoped would have grown up a little while he was in the presidency, but he really wasn't.
I haven't followed up with him lately, but is he still acting up?
He's always acting up. I think he's allowed back on Twitter now, though, since Elon Musk. Elon, right? I'm saying Ellen, right?
Ellen. You think
Ellen's behaved anymore?
Ever since
Okay,
Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah, Ellen DeGeneres got in trouble for yelling and screaming at people, and doing a diva. Oh no. Elon Musk. Thank you. What do you want from me, man? Every once in a while, I have to have a slip up somewhere, right?
Elon Musk.
Anyway, since he took over Twitter, I think Trump's going to get back on it.
What are your feelings on Elon?
Elon? I don't know. You got the money. What the hell? I mean,
why do you think he bought Twitter? You always have an opinion about things, so I want to hear this opinion.
I don't think he liked the way Twitter was being run. And I don't know if he had any stock in Twitter at all, but as soon as he got in there, he basically fired the whole upper echelon.
Wait, but what's his agenda? Why did he do it?
I don't know. What's his agenda? You tell me. What to squash freedom of speech? He wants to actually open it up for more freedom of speech. And the problem is a lot of people are freaking out because they actually limit what you can say on it. And freedom of speech is freedom of speech, whether you like what the person has to say or not. This country allows you, as long as you don't yell fire in a movie theater, this country allows you to spew hate because that's freedom of speech.
Yeah, but I think we actually had a conversation about this where we spoke and said, if that rhetoric causes violence, is that still acceptable? Right? If somebody is
did we have a conversation about this?
Yeah, I think we actually did have a conversation.
But
we get into a lot of these philosophical
it matters. It matters if somebody gets on there and says, "Hey, go kill somebody," or they say, "Hey, this is what's going on, and we can't let it happen."
So somebody got on. Okay, so somebody gets on Twitter and says, "Hey, yes, I think we should all go to Nancy Pelosi's house and beat her husband with a hammer."
I think that's a problem.
You don't think it's a problem?
I think it's a problem, but I don't know if that falls under freedom of speech or not.
Okay, well, again, I'm just saying that I can understand why some people are concerned and say, well, if they didn't have that forum to go out there and incite folks and reach that wacko that said, oh, yeah, you know what? David said we should go and smack this guy in the head with a hammer.
Yeah.
he wouldn't have triggered that individual. So I guess I'm saying I can see why there's some...
When I was a kid, the Nazis wanted to march through, I can't remember the town. It's in Chicago. Right, it's where a lot of Jewish people live, a lot of Holocaust survivors live. Okay, and the Nazis got a permit to march through the town because they considered that freedom of speech. Do I think it's appropriate? No. Should it be legal? Yes. I mean, oh God, what is the name? I wish if anybody is watching and they want to text me and tell me what town that was. It was in Chicago, and it was a big parade with a bunch of Nazis.
But were they inciting any violence? Were they?
I don't know. Just by being a Nazi, you're inciting violence, right?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, just by their presence. But again,
thank you, Patrick. Stokey, Illinois. That's right. I'm glad somebody else has a memory that I don't have anymore. Stokey, Illinois. So I was a kid, and they were going to march, and my dad was having an absolute fit. I go, look. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you want to have freedom of speech, you have to have freedom of speech.
Yeah. Well, again, there's freedom of speech, and then there's inciting and invoking violence. I guess there's a fine line. And when you give somebody a forum and a channel to reach potentially tens of millions of people, and mess with them. Listen, let's face it. There's a lot of people who are on the edge.
Let me ask a question. Who's going to draw the line? Right?
Yeah. I get it.
You get somebody who draws a line. You get somebody like Poonen who draws a line and says, "Oh, you can't say war." Right, or something like that, then you're really moving away from what the Constitution actually gives you permission to do.
I mean, listen,
it's like the Second Amendment. Once you take away one gun,
Yeah, I'm not saying I disagree with you because I'm actually the one that gets really frustrated with Facebook trying to limit everybody's freedom of speech. Yeah. Facebook does it a lot also. They got a lot of rules on what you can say, who you can say it to.
Yeah, but something, if you're the problem with Facebook is there's so many bots out there, right?
But hold on a second. Stand by. Now we're talking about a commercial company.
Yeah.
That it's a private, whether it's publicly owned or privately owned,
mm-hmm.
But isn't that their right also to say, "Hey, I don't want this on my platform"?
I don't think so. Not under that. Not if you break the Constitution. The Constitution's the overall law in the United States.
Yeah, but it's not a public forum. It's
a public company.
Okay, well, it's a public company, but if the shareholders say, "Hey, you know what? We don't want it as part of it," still has owners. I guess what I'm trying to say, it's not you going out in public and standing on a soapbox and saying, "Hey, I want to voice my opinion to the open air," right? You're using my technology, my platform, if it's my technology, my platform, I guess it goes back to impinging on my freedom, right? Do I have to service you as a customer? Let's take it there, David. Do I have to service you as a customer?
I would assume that.
Do they have the right? No, I mean,
listen. That the only one I knew about was there was a gay couple who, and I don't know if you knew the story. There was a gay couple who went to a bakery or something, and the bakery for religious reasons said they wouldn't make them a wedding cake.
Okay, so is that
right?
wrong?
And I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly what. That's a damn good question. I don't know.
Right. Well, okay, but
I think it is. I think it is wrong.
okay.
Actually,
is it right? Could we agree that?
Okay, well, it's not
morally,
morally and ethically, it's not right. Okay, but it's
their business.
But can you imagine if a bakery and they wouldn't serve them because they were?
Listen,
so what the hell's the difference?
If I walked into a bakery,
they wouldn't serve you because you're Iranian.
Somebody didn't want to give me rainbow cake, right? Because they just thought I didn't deserve it.
But how about if I walked? How about if you walked into a restaurant and they wouldn't serve you because you were Jewish or you were black? Like, okay, so my dad moved here in the early 50s. I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Okay, and he wasn't allowed on the beach after sundown, and either were blacks.
Okay.
Were allowed on the beach.
Yeah, but
okay, and they had to go.
I mean, that's not
serving. That's sir. Yeah, but that's sir. I mean, you can't get into a hotel.
There's not really a correlation there because first of all, we're comparing a privately owned business as a sole proprietor to a public beach, right?
No, it's a public beach, but it's hotels, right? If you want to stay in a hotel, you can't stay in a hotel because you're Jewish or black. I mean, look, there's been all kinds of racism or bigotry or whatever you want to call it in this country for years. And what nobody really realizes is basically we all come from different come from different places, right?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
The only real Americans are the damn Indians, as far as I know.
They're Native Americans.
That's right. Native. Okay.
We actually have an Indian guest.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to whatever.
Our Indian guest today is taking offense to that.
So the point being is we're all freaking immigrants, right? Some people have been here for 200
than others.
Some people have been here for 250 years. Some people have been here for 100 years. My dad came over.
America was founded on people leaving because of persecution.
That's right. So
you're absolutely right.
People are going to come here and then get persecuted. And
but you can't legislate.
Look what they did. They persecuted the Chinese. Okay, they persecuted the Japanese. I mean, in the internment camps and everything. Well, it was people came to this country to get away from that crap.
Well, I mean, I think we can go back in time and probably say that every ethnicity that's come to America has gone through their hazing period, whether it's the Italians, the Irish. I think every single ethnicity at some point in time got the short end of the stick. Do I think it's right? Absolutely not. Do I think there's a process to it and there's an acceptance period? Yeah, I think it should get over it, but at the same time, you can't legislate or put into rule a feeling.
I'm sorry.
You can't force somebody to feel a specific way, right? So
no, I'm not talking about feeling a specific way. I don't.
You can't.
Everybody hates somebody.
Well,
I mean, right now I hate you. Okay, but the point being is that you can't sit there. You can't sit there. I would deny. You can't sit there and deny somebody entrance into a hotel.
But if it's my hotel, I am the owner, and for whatever reason I don't like David.
That's ridiculous.
It's my hotel.
No, because there's laws.
I wish there's somebody would chime in on here.
I'm sorry. There are laws that you cannot discriminate in this country.
What about if somebody's coming and just being obnoxious all the time, and you just don't like that person? You don't want them on your premises.
Okay, you have to leave. You have to leave the office building.
Okay,
or the bunker.
I'm surprised you let me in here today.
Yeah,
but again, I don't think you should be able to legislate a small business to have to serve. Again, this goes back to goes back to COVID when they were saying, hey, you can't open your business if you don't require folks to wear a mask. I was against it. I said, listen, not that I was against masks, but if a gym wants to open up and let people in there without a mask, people who want to wear a mask shouldn't complain. It's that proprietor's right. That's their freedom to be able to allow somebody without a mask to come inside their business. So again, I'm not saying I like it.
I don't know. I mean, listen,
I would be offended, but I wouldn't feel compelled.
There's private clubs that lose their tax exempt ID status.
We had this conversation.
If they don't let them, let people.
Why would you want to be part of a club that doesn't like you? It doesn't even make any sense.
Let's go to topic. Okay, so one of the reasons I'm doing this show today, okay, and I'm kind of feeling okay right now, but I wasn't this morning.
I'm going
to go through the sample ballot of elections. But first, I want to show everybody. Look, this is 1 week's worth of mailers. Okay, I mean, I got to tell you something. They're cutting down trees, folks, and the average person looks at one of these literally for less than 10 seconds.
They're actually really good to make paper planes out of. For
So
kids.
10 seconds. So what I've found really interesting, and I don't know if we discussed this before, is Mayor Cunningham, right? She owns a PAC. She owns a PAC called Palmetto Bay United, right? I've never seen this before. I don't know if I talked to you about this or if it's somebody else, but the front of the flyer or the mailer is this really nice picture of her, right? And all the things she says she's done, which is not the truth. If you want to know the truth, spearheaded much needed infrastructure, no. Decreased heights and density, no. Leading to Miami days when lowest crime rates. Actually, if you want to know the truth, the crime's gone up a lot. So anyway, I've never seen a mailer that has like this lovely. And by the way, Mayor Cunningham always came out and said she'd never do negative not advertising, negative publicity on anybody. Okay, so you got this lovely picture of Karen Cunningham, which I'm sure was photoshopped, and then if you look at the back, okay,
dun, dun, dun.
nasty. By the way, she actually has said that she'd never do nasty mailers, and which she's on record saying she'd never do nasty mailers. And next thing you know, she does nasty mailers. Next thing you know is Flynn facts, right? So you got all these lovely facts about Mayor Cunningham and all these nasty facts about Flynn, which, by the way, I'm not 100% sure. This is just the two out of the three are bold-faced lies. One of them I'll give one of them I'll give one of them I will give some credit to. That's Flynn's dangerous voting record are environmentally sensitive lands in jeopardy. That's not true. He's the one that wanted to save a whole bunch of it's not redlands, it's not oak. What are those
Mangroves?
Mangroves, yeah.
Mangroves.
Yeah, on Old Cutler Road, yeah. So anyway, so she always says, "Oh, I'm going to bring civility." That's what she says. Her it's great. I'm going to bring civility.
But it's not. But it's not her. It's her PAC. It's not her fault.
She owns a PAC. Okay, which means she directs the PAC. So anyway, thank you very much, to Pine Rocklands. I've been under too much anesthesia lately, and my brain's not functioning properly. Anyway, so she always says that she's going to bring Palmetto Bay together. We are more divided now than we've ever been divided, and she's got some plans for the Rocklands, and it's not going to be pretty. I think they're going to they want to put a Publix there and a hotel and a whole bunch of apartments. There's like a back.
What about a Walmart?
Walmart, that would be great. Okay, and then I don't know. Here's another one about Patrick Froy. I don't really get into the negative advertising stuff. Here, Palmetto Bay, Councilman Patrick Froy has failed us. Do you think he deserves our trust again? I don't need a mailer to tell me what that Patrick's done absolutely nothing while he's been on the council. He's literally, this guy has this literally, and I love Patrick to death. I'm telling you, I was good friends with Patrick, and you know why? I know you should know I love him, because I used to pick up every single tab anytime we went out to dinner, because the guy doesn't have 2 cents to rub together. Anyway, so he voted for increase in taxes. He went and he actually he said he wasn't going to raise taxes, and we were going to get rid of the FP&L fee that we talked about previously. And he voted to increase it from 0 to 6%, the FP&L fee. By the way, I don't know about you guys, but I've looked at my FP&L bill. It is insane. Here we go. Here's another one. This is literally crazy, guys. Okay, here's another one. Karen Cunningham. Okay, paid by Palmetto Bay United, the PAC that she runs. Establishing funding for canal patrols to keep our waterways safe. That's not true. She didn't actually do that. You know who did that? Was a bunch of Palmetto Bay residents went to the commission, Miami-Dade Commission, and got the mayor Mayor Cava to work on it. She had nothing to do with it. It was actually residents that got the canal patrols. And then on the back of it, once again,
Dun, dun,
dun,
dun.
dun, dun, is a nasty is nasty. I mean, I've never seen anything. I've seen nasty.
I actually think when you
And-
when you turn it this way, I hear it.
Yeah, no, but think about this. I've seen
Dun, dun, dun.
I've seen nice. I've seen nice. I've seen nasty. But I've never seen nice and nasty.
It's like sweet
Nice
and sour.
and nasty. Okay.
Nice and nasty.
I mean, people got to realize it. And Palmetto Bay people typically that. Ow, I'm not repeating that. People in Palmetto Bay actually don't like negative advertising.
Sorry, I read the comments. Oh, gee.
Anyway, so she says, "Oh, I want to bring Palmetto Bay together." What she's done is definitely separated us. But it's just weird, and I'm keeping all these because I know there's going to be runoff, so I can start talking about it. Anyway, okay, so let's see what else. Okay, here's Gene Flynn's. Gene Flynn's is nice and nice, right? So I get this nice and nice, right? So I get one from Gene, and says, "Let's get our village back on track." In the back, it says who's actually supporting him, right? So you got a whole bunch of people that were on the council, like Linda Robinson. She was the former vice mayor of Palmetto Bay, and Paul Neinhardt, who happens to be the nicest. He's the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. He's really nice. And Danielle Cohen-Higgins. They're all supporting. You know how unusual it is for ex-council people to support somebody who's not currently serving as mayor.
Apparently, especially in Palmetto Bay, it actually is pretty amazing.
I mean, Danielle Cohen-Higgins is definitely supporting. And it's just so unusual. So anyway, so it's nice. Gene Flynn has not put anything out nasty about Karen Cunningham that I can tell. There is a PAC that has put stuff out, but he doesn't control the PAC. Pam Gorman, nice. Oh, and then once again, Danielle Cohen-Higgins is supporting Pam Gorman. And once again, this is weird, see, because Pam and Patrick are running against each other, and it's very unusual for a sitting commissioner, Miami-Dade County sitting commissioner, to come out against somebody who's actually sitting on the council. What else we got? We got another small Flynn one, nice. Then we got another one from Karen Cunningham, result of her records, decreased taxes. Okay, first of all, number one, she's voted for.
Can you recycle these at least?
Yeah, I know. They're killing a lot of trees. Okay, so hers is great. Decreased taxes, making Palmetto Bay one of the lowest cities in Miami-Dade. She's voted 4 times in a row. Every year she's voted for tax increases. 4 years in a row, she's voted for tax increases.
Now, in marketing, you could actually sue for false advertising.
No, but you can't in politics.
No, okay, just curious.
Okay, here's one. Here's one that is paid
is it
by
called like puffery?
Citizens for United Florida. Never heard of that PAC. And it talks about Karen Cunningham, higher taxes, higher utility bills, higher stormwater fees, spike in crime, no show.
That's actually pretty creative.
Yeah. And somebody says, I voted for Karen Cunningham before she turned her back on us. So it basically goes through and says, and I can tell you this right here.
Gets an A for creativity?
No. Not only an A for creativity, but Liam, pay attention. These are all the truth, okay? She did vote for higher taxes. She did vote for higher utility bills. She did vote for higher stormwater fees. And you can go to a voting record and find this. There was a spike in crime, and she's had a couple of no-shows. I
don't live in Palmetto Bay, but I don't think I've ever been so interested in actually Palmetto Bay.
I know. I just think it's funny.
I almost want to ask Liam to do like a master's thesis and give me the analysis here.
You have people that are running. You have people that are running for political office. Okay, how much do you think that a council person gets paid a month? Just take a guess. Palmetto Bay.
I want to say
it's not a volunteer job.
Maybe $1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month. Okay, and the mayor gets paid $2,000 a month. There's over $150,000 in campaign contributions. Okay, between both between the PAC and Karen Cunningham's regular campaign account, probably about 150. For Gene Flynn, he's got probably his own campaign. I think he's got 50, and there's a PAC out there that's probably has 100. So there for $2,000 a month, these people are backing him for $150,000.
Oh my God!
I mean, it's insane. You don't get that.
It's like a village of like 12,000 people.
No, it's 28,000, 8,000 homes, or 26,000, 8,000.
But that's still like.
I think we have a reality TV show in this village.
No, I think you should. Anyway, so I can go through all these, but it's great. I collect these. So if you have any and you want to save them and send them to me, it would be.
You said this is 2 weeks.
This is a week.
A week.
This is a week.
Oh my gosh. Well, let me tell you, thank you for keeping the United States Postal Service in
it's
business.
insane, right? Here's some other ones.
The USPS thanks you for your support.
This is one. I like this one. Okay, so this goes again. This one's negative and positive. Okay, how do you pronounce that? Perez.
Janelle Perez.
Perez is an economic wrecking ball. Reckless spending, massive inflation, radical policies. Perez and her businesses are hurting seniors by profiting off them and denying $13 million in insurance claims. I mean, you know what? How do you know that's even true? I mean, she runs. I guess she.
And then David wonders why I don't really pay attention to.
No. But how do you know that? I mean,
but that's my problem. How do I know any of this stuff is true?
The problem is that it's like the Supreme Court, right? The Supreme Court justices. I found out the other day that they don't have to take any kind of ethics. Raise their hand and take any.
Sure.
They don't have any ethics at all, guidelines or anything else for it. The most important judiciary branch.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that basically determines what the hell's going to happen in this country. They don't raise their hand and take some sort of take an ethics oath.
You know that there's only like.
I mean, how's that possible in this country?
There's only 2 or 3 lines in the Constitution that actually mention the Supreme Court by name. Like everything that the Supreme Court runs.
This is why you need to have a college student on every show.
No, but I mean, that's insane.
But like it's all made up by them. Whereas like Senate and like the president have like
It's a lot of mail.
I know. Anyway, so I figured today I'd go through the sample ballot, right? I want to know. You probably haven't even looked at a ballot yet, right? I'm always one that literally I get ballots and I get a mail-in ballot, so I don't have to go and hang out, right?
I didn't get my mail-in ballot.
Okay, so we'll start with. I'm just curious what you think of some of these people. Okay, so and you can chime in anytime, Liam. Okay, because you're allowed to vote, right?
I am. I'm actually going to be voting.
Oh, cool. Okay, so Liam's going to be voting. Okay, he doesn't live in Palmetto Bay, but he's going to be voting.
I mean,
Okay.
not for Palmetto.
Yeah, I know, but I got the state of Florida and Dade County.
Palmetto Bay sounds so exciting. I'm thinking about moving to Palmetto Bay.
It's funny. And I'm thinking about moving to Pinecrest.
I'm going to buy David's house and move it.
Okay, so Palmetto Bay mayor. Okay, I'm just going to do Palmetto Bay first because that's what I'm hitting on, right? So you have Karen Cunningham, Aljon Farguson, and Eugene Flynn. Okay. Anybody listen, I can only implore people not to vote for Karen Cunningham. I mean, if I can, and there's going to be a runoff, by the way, because they got 3 and somebody has to have 51% of the vote to win mayor. But Karen Cunningham has just been, I mean, if anybody watches this show, she's a freaking disaster. Okay. Why do you think there will be a runoff? Will the incompetent one create a problem? How many votes do you think he'll get? He's going to get 10%. He's going to get between 8 and 10%.
Lord Farquaad?
Yeah, Farguson. Yeah, Alan Farguson. It's funny is I would actually vote for the guy if he ran for like a district seat, right? The guy's never comes to council meetings. He may watch them on TV, but he never comes to council meetings, and he doesn't know how government works. He really needs to be in a commission seat
to learn
or council seat to learn before he runs for mayor. And I bet you if he was actually in a council seat, he'd still be he'd be better than Karen Cunningham. But I don't think he'd take as many selfies as Karen. Okay, Palmetto Bay council member seat 1 is Patrick Ferrari or Pam Gorman. Patrick's just dead weight. I mean, I'm being perfectly blunt. I mean, the guy sits there. If the guy says three things during a meeting, it's a lot.
Listen, if one thing we can say about the show is you would never have to really figure out what David's trying to say.
No, he's a nice guy. He's just dead weight on the council. He follows the. He doesn't lead. He follows, right? So he's not a leader. He's a follower. So if there's
there's a saying: lead, follow, or get out of the way. So he's following.
So listen, if the council jumped off the bridge in San Francisco into the water, he'd jump off the bridge with them. I mean, that's just the kind of person he is. He's a follower. He's not a leader. And literally, politicians should be leaders, in my opinion, not followers. So you got Pam Gorman, who I'd vote for, and then Palmetto Bay Council member seat 3. You got Russell Jones, who I haven't seen hide her hair from, and you got Marsha Matson. And the reason Russell Jones is running is because Karen Cunningham doesn't want Marsha Matson on the council anymore. That's simple.
That's it.
So she brought Russell Jones in to run against Marsha Matson, and he doesn't. I haven't heard anything. I don't even know what he stands for, but I just know that he's her. From what I understand, he's her lapdog, and she's got enough lapdogs because she got two other. She's got the vice mayor and council seat too as her lapdogs. I don't think we need another.
Who's
lapdog.
the vice mayor?
Oh my God, I blanked. Okay, I'm sure somebody will send me. Patrick will tell me. Liam Tallum is the vice mayor.
Oh,
that's see, getting old really sucks.
Yeah,
because your brain just doesn't work when you're asked a question. Anyway, so Russell Jones or Marsha Matson. Okay, so that's my ballot there.
I was expecting somebody to put a Biden comment in there any second now.
Well, okay, so I had Key Biscayne, but we don't really. Okay, Key Biscayne, we don't need to go through that. Key Biscayne has a lot of referendums. There's like one referendum. There's like 5 referendums in Key Biscayne.
Well, maybe they can pass one to keep people from getting killed on a
6
bike.
referendum. Right? That's not nice. No,
especially if you're riding on that bike.
No, I mean, the problem is that with cyclists is you got a bunch of cars and you got a bunch of people looking at their cell phones, and then you got cyclists who think they own the road, which they don't own the road, because cyclists versus cars, who's going to win?
Fair point.
Okay,
yeah.
So you gotta be a defensive. If you're on a bike, you gotta be really defensive.
Well, it's just like
right?
just like
a
riding a motorcycle.
Right? Yeah.
No, fair enough. And I've taken a motorcycle training course. That actually made me a better driver.
And I don't know anybody who's running for us. I haven't talked to anybody. You know anybody who's running for South Miami? South Miami at one time, because I've talked to Michael Miller a lot. He says South Miami at one time was as bad, if not worse, than Palmetto Bay.
Impossible.
I'm telling you.
Impossible.
That's what Michael Miller. That's what Michael Miller. Michael Miller said South Miami was as bad, if not worse, than Palmetto Bay. Okay, so here we go. Now you should know this because you're gonna have to vote. Okay, so you have United States Senator Marco Rubio, Val Deming, Dennis Missjoy, Steve Grant, and I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm illiterate.
It's an Asian name, probably Vietnamese.
Nguyen, Nguyen.
Yes.
Nguyen.
I have
Okay.
a few friends with that last name.
Okay.
And I'm embarrassed that I can't pronounce
It's
it.
like
Nguyen. Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't mean to insult anybody by not knowing how to. I'd be a terrible teacher. Can you imagine being a teacher? First day of school, I'd be looking at all these kids' names, going, "I'm not going to be able to pronounce that fucking name." Okay. Anyway, I would vote for anybody over Marco Rubio. Guys, I'm an independent, but that guy. There's a story I read. First of all,
Why do you hate Rubio?
Why I don't
Yeah,
hate
the G
him.
silent, right?
I don't know
Liam.
Yeah, I don't.
G silent,
I don't know Rubio, so I can't hate him.
Okay.
I just absolutely
Is it his haircut?
no. First of all, he never shows up for votes.
Well,
You know how many votes he's missed in the state Senate? He never shows up for voting in the state. I mean, not the U.S. Senate. He always misses votes. On top of that, I read an article where in Texas now abortion's illegal, right? In Texas. So some lady, the baby was dead, right? They wouldn't give her abortion. So she's walking around
With a dead baby?
with a dead baby inside of her. And unless she left the state, she couldn't get rid of the dead baby.
Okay. So this goes back to.
Oh no, and this is a true story.
No,
by the way.
hold on.
Absolutely true story.
But when he says why I don't listen to the news is because I don't understand if that's news or
No, that's news.
or entertainment.
No.
Impossible.
No,
I want to fact check this one. Liam, fact check, please.
Yeah, can you look up? There was a nurse that wrote an article. Okay, because she was look that up. Okay, there was a nurse
There's
that wrote.
got to be some kind
There's
of.
a nurse that
angle
wrote
to
an
this.
article with all these people that are anti-abortion, and you and I have had a conversation.
If the
about this.
baby's already dead, it's not an abortion.
It's still considered an abortion. Listen, if a baby.
So they're just waiting for it to naturally just fall out.
Yeah, they're waiting for the body to reject it. But you got to. I mean, it's the same thing with rape. Come on, if you're raped, do you really? I said this to you one time. I said your daughter gets raped. Seriously, should she have to?
So articles from the Washington Post, CNN, Daily Mail, Business Insider, the Daily Beast, the Texas Tribune, all of them addressing that this woman was carrying a dead fetus in herself for 2 weeks because of Texas abortion ban.
That's
No,
nuts.
that's just from looking at,
Yeah.
searching it up and being like, okay, how many articles are there actually on it?
Okay.
I mean,
so-
that's crazy though, right? So you got that. You got women
How many
that are
months?
women are raped.
What
and stuff
period
like-
was a baby? Well, I guess you don't have to answer that, but that's fine. I would just be curious.
No, I don't know. Whatever it was, it's
Was it the first trimester, second
wait,
trimester?
whatever it is, it's ridiculous,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's ridiculous that if you're raped, you can't get an abortion in this country, or certain states in this country. And I'm sorry, everybody. You can say, oh well, she was raped, but it's not the baby's fault that she was raped, and there's no reason to abort it. I mean, come on, seriously.
Listen, I'm the person that says I don't believe in seatbelt rules, seatbelt laws, because
Oh well, I believe in seatbelt laws.
yeah. But again, like, this goes back to, so where do you draw the line, David? Where do you draw the line?
Well,
Why
what's,
should I-
so, what's
so,
this?
so I can ride my motorcycle without a helmet,
Yeah, well, which is ridiculous.
but I have to wear a seatbelt when I'm driving a car.
Oh, we're moving slow. Something's going on, Liam.
Huh?
I don't know why something's going slow.
What is going on?
Or
I don't know. We're
motion.
like we look like a Japanese movie where my mouth's moving and then the words aren't coming out.
Oh, this is like.
and then he says he's not racist.
No, you've never seen a Japanese karate movie where they talk and then you hear the.
I think it's
Not
just the
racist.
nature of, like,
As a kid, I was a big fan of Samurai Sundays,
Yeah.
so I know exactly what you're talking about. But
Okay, so what-
it's Japanese.
Okay, so here we got a representative in Congress district. You know, a lot of my friends, which is interesting. A lot of my friends.
Well, how do you feel about DeSantis?
You know, I got to tell you, I'm not going to tell you who I voted for.
Oh, really?
Okay, but I don't like Charlie Crist. And he's a Democrat, right? I don't like him because I can't understand how somebody can be. First of all, he's a professional politician, and I believe in term limits.
Yeah.
Okay. So he went from Republican to Independent to Democrat. That gets me a little confused.
Who, Charlie Crist?
Yeah. So I mean, DeSantis, I think is
Well,
a little far right for me.
this was for Liam. I think being confused is actually in right now, so he's okay.
DeSantis is a little.
That was
yeah.
for you, Liam. I know
Yeah.
you'd appreciate that one.
Dude.
Thanks, Al. Streaming's fine. So anyway, DeSantis is a little far right, more
But at least he
farther
stands,
right than when I.
but at least
when,
he stands
when-
for something.
farther right than he was when he was elected, right? Because
Probably.
he's playing to
Yeah.
Trump's base, so he has to be farther right.
Yeah.
But when he first got elected, I really liked the guy, and now he just because he's playing at a base, he's scaring me a little. Anyway,
I mean, I think that should say enough.
who would you vote for?
Politician starts, who would
And
I
you didn't even say who you're gonna vote for.
Well,
Not fair.
I gave you a hint.
Yeah. No, you said you're not voting for Christ.
I said I'm not voting for Christ.
Chris.
Yes. I'm not voting for Christ either. Although, I was talking to somebody the other day and we were talking and I said, okay, Jesus comes down and he has to pick a political party. Which political party is it?
Oh my god.
Okay. And she's a great friend of mine. She goes, definitely liberal, definitely Democrat. Right. And I go, well, how about all those religious Republicans? I guess he won't be, helping them out.
So if Jesus came back, he said, "Please crucify me again, because this is insanity."
Oh no, he wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Say,
but
please.
I mean, think about it.
I wanna go back.
I figured he'd be a Democrat too, by the way.
Just because he has long hair, looks like a hippie from
No, because he's all for. I mean, think about what he
Listen,
stood for.
That's profiling, all right?
Well, think about what he stood for. I mean, I think he's closer to the liberal philosophy or the democratic philosophy
Yeah,
than it
but
would be.
again, but we had this
Republican.
conversation with the problem with the liberal philosophy is the fact that they judge more than the right.
I think he would be a part of the Peace Party, which has like 120 members right now.
I want to.
I don't think he would be a part of anyone.
I don't know. I don't think anybody should be. I don't think anybody should be member of any political party. Actually, to sit there
But
and
yeah, you should vote for the
Well,
vote for
you
the
vote
best
for the
candidate,
best candidate, right?
With the
So to sit
issues
there-
you support. That's it.
I mean, Karen Cunningham was a Republican, and she found out there were so many Democrats in Palmetto Bay that she couldn't win running as a Republican, so she became an independent. I became an independent because I was just damn tired of
Okay, listen.
both parties.
I'm a little naive to this whole
Oh, yeah.
concept of being a politician. My understanding of it is in technically speaking, you're an elected official, and the concept of being an elected official is someone that's supposed to represent your constituents, right? So, and again, I could be wrong. I'm not a very bright guy. I kind of oversimplify things, but
Yeah.
my understanding is if I was going to go and run to be the
No.
mayor of Palmetto Bay,
Yeah.
my sole
Well, first of all, it's when you run for mayor of Palmetto Bay or any council seats, it's nonpartisan, so
Yeah.
you don't really tell.
yeah, that's
what
true
you're-
too. But,
that you don't tell.
but let's see. So let's say it's not. It is a state seat, right?
Yeah.
Regardless, or any elected official, it doesn't matter.
But-
actually.
but if-
partisan or not. But
if
my,
that
but my
was
sole
true-
responsibility
Yes.
is to represent
The majority
of
of
people.
Okay, but if that was true, there would be a lot more reaching across the aisle, right? There's no reaching across the aisle. It's not like when Reagan was president. It's not. There's no reaching across the aisle anymore.
Well, that's why I said this whole
there's none.
the
It's
whole
all,
concept of politics
it's
doesn't
all
make
building
sense to my simple
these
mind.
politicians. Listen,
Yeah.
Term limits. You want to get this country back to normal? Put in term limits. Okay, so you run twice for the Senate. Okay, it's 6 and 6. Okay, 12 years. 3 years for Congress, right? It's 4, 4, and 4. 12 years. You put in term limits and you get rid of the PACs.
I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is like people always say that pandering to the voters. I guess what I'm trying to say is like you just mentioned. Okay, well, DeSantis came in now. He's a little more off to the right than he was initially.
He is. I mean, if anybody's been watching him, he's very far off the right.
That, but if that's what his constituents, if that's what his voters are asking for, is that wrong?
I don't. You know what? You're right, but I don't think it is. I think from Orlando down, basically dealing with a state that's Democratic, the majority of Democrats.
Well, you've seen the last election map, right? I mean, it's.
And by the way, there's more Democrats than there are Republicans. Maybe somebody can look that up and text me.
I mean, you're talking about as far as
registered voters. Registered voters. There's a lot more Democrat registered voters than there are Republicans.
In the state of Florida, or in
the United States. So if that was true, what you're saying that all the legislation would be liberal and Democratic because you have more people.
Well,
I don't know. Listen,
you're going to get to the.
All I know, I'm going to say the same thing I said to somebody the other day. I'm not leaving. When I die, this country is not going to be in better shape than I was born. It's just not. This country has serious issues. It does. I mean, it is what it is, and nobody wants to address the real issues.
Well, don't get me started.
Because everybody wants to play games.
Don't get me started.
I'm not saying there's countries. By the way, I'm going to get. Oh, you hate the United States? No, I don't hate the United States. There's some countries that are better than the United States, and there's a lot of countries that are worse than the United States.
What country's better in your opinion?
I don't.
That's right, because the U.S. is the best. Exactly. Exactly. That's why you still live here, David.
Any country.
If there was a better country in the United States, you'd be living there right now.
Listen,
take it back. Take it back, David.
No. Do you know the United States? Look where we stand on the. Look us up. Freedom of speech.
Hold on. I'm going to take
We're out of the top 10 of freedom of speech.
You're not brown enough to say this comment. Listen.
Okay.
You're not brown enough to say this comment. As another. So. I'll be the first to say it. In the United States, there's some really messed up things that happen. And I'm sure the United States does some messed up things. But I guarantee you, if any other nation in this world had the amount of power and influence the United States had, it would be causing significantly more havoc across the world. All right. So
what makes you think we're not? And it's just not publicized. What makes you think the CIA is not everywhere causing havoc and we have no idea?
No. Okay. So imagine a country like Iran or, Venezuela, many countries, if they even had a fraction of the amount of power the United States had, what kind of chaos would they be having? I mean, listen, no system is perfect, all right? Listen, it's going to happen. But I mean, again, with the power, there's always going to be corruption. There's always going to be the negative aspect of it. But again, if you weigh it all out, I mean, all things, at least there's some kind of checks and balances.
Tell me how we have people in this country that are still starving. We are a world power. World power.
Okay.
And tell me how you can have kids in this country that are starving. You have homeless people. The homeless problem you have here in this country.
Because
you have the highest.
Because they made abortion illegal.
Second highest incarceration rate.
I think that's why Liam likes me when I get on the show.
The second highest incarceration rate of any country in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we have
our educational system is in the shitter.
We have fundamental issues. I've told you guys before.
Fundamental issues. This is more than fundamental issues. Where are we in freedom of speech? Did you read that? We're out of the top 10 countries in freedom of speech, by the way.
Well, I don't think
we're probably like 13th and 14th.
It's like in terms of like how.
How much more does people want to say? Like what? What is this?
But that's not it. I'm saying that there are countries that the basics of the basics of living is I would assume for liberty is freedom of speech, being able to eat, being able to be educated. I mean, there's some things.
I wish our guest was on camera today because he actually just recently moved into this country from another country, and he moved here because he believes in what America has to offer, and he's traveled many other countries.
I'm not saying America is not a great country. I'm just saying it's not as great. Oh, here we go, Patrick. Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Thank you. All the Scandinavian countries.
And hence, why is their population so low?
What?
They're tundras.
I said, why is their population so low? Okay, why isn't there a mass migration?
How do you know? How do you know their population is low?
Well, I mean,
Liam, fact check, please.
okay, well, the thing is, like,
How do you know their population?
they've been like these frozen like countries. with
Done
wide-
to tundra?
Listen, I'm not saying there's not room for improvement. Like I've always said, like healthcare in America is just ridiculous. I've said that before.
Healthcare is another thing, right?
Yeah, I've said. Listen, I've said. I think education.
I have a friend that says, "Hey, it was amazing." Okay, so healthcare is a big issue with me. I have a friend of mine
I
who's,
like
who's a
how you say
Republican,
USA.
who's a Republican who
Yeah.
sits there and goes, "Hey, I got my healthcare. I can't worry about anybody else." That's what he said. I got my healthcare. You know, if you're going to sit there and just be that myopic and care about yourself and not the rest of the country. He also says, "Hey, I got put through college. I went through college.
Well, listen. I'm the first one that said.
I got through college. If somebody else gets through college, that's not my problem."
Yeah, but it is your okay. So
It is your problem.
Okay, I think on one of the earlier shows I had this conversation with somebody. As it doesn't make any sense to me why in this country there's not a fair, free education stipend for every single person that's part of this country. It doesn't make any sense to me. I would gladly pay more taxes to know that every child in this country has an opportunity to get educated, to become
the crime rate, the crime and the I mean, look at illiteracy. Have you ever seen the programs where some guy goes out to California, right? Typical California, and he sits there and he starts interviewing, and he says, he says, "Do you know who the president is?" And these kids have no clue who the president is. Who's the Speaker of the House? They have no clue. How much is your tax rate in this country? No clue. I mean, they don't even know geography.
You know, there was
Okay.
this viral video of like this University of Miami student being interviewed for that same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they asked her, "Hey, you know, where's South Africa? Where's that some country?" And then she said, "I'm a business major."
Yeah, I mean, or they say, "Oh, South Africa's right north of South Africa's right."
It actually reminds me of that YouTube parody where somebody was going around asking people, "What do you think about Trump's foreign policies in Wakanda?" Did you ever see that one? Yeah, Wakanda.
And I thought it was a real country.
Yeah, they thought it was a real country. And well, I think he's doing okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so Al says it's a shame a non-U.S. born citizen has to buy Twitter so we can speak freely about.
Cunningham.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay, so wait.
I can't.
Well, now I understand why he's so hell bent on his freedom of speech. I get it now, David.
Yeah,
I
there you go.
sympathize
Okay.
with you.
Okay, so
You're-
let's go.
you're
Okay,
a
so
victim of
so
censorship. Okay.
I guess when you vote, right? Do you know you're going to vote for Attorney General? Do you know who any of these people are? Are you just going to randomly vote? I mean, are you going to look up to see who to vote for?
It's kind of funny. This election, I'm actually kind of it's gonna sound funny. I'm a little disillusioned, but I think it's because of David. I'm kind of like
No,
I'm
I mean,
kinda
but you
bummed
do.
out. I
But
feel
listen,
like
you're
hopeless.
voting for the state of Florida. You
Yeah.
should know who the Attorney General is or Chief Financial Officer. By the way, if you're going to vote for a chief financial officer, always vote for a Republican because they're fiscally more responsible than the Democrats are. That's going to get me in trouble too, right? You know that's going to get me in trouble, right? Commissioner of Agriculture. I mean, as state senators. I mean, you should know who these people are. And what's funny is people just go through there and randomly go, "Okay, I'm a Republican. I'm going to vote for every single Republican," or "I'm a
That's-
Democrat. I'm going to vote for every
A
single
lot
Democrat."
of people do that line voting. Yeah.
And also, like, here's something. Attorneys, right? So Justice of Supreme Court, and District Court of Appeals. People just vote. I call my attorney friends. I go,
Yeah.
okay.
We should
I go. Why am I as a citizen,
As a layperson.
as a layperson, voting for judges or a Supreme Court justice or Court of Appeal judge? I don't know who I'm voting for. I could be voting for the worst person in the world.
Yeah, but you got a mailer.
No, I haven't gotten a mailer on any of these people. I mean, literally, they should come up with some sort of amendment that says that attorneys vote for these people. If you're in the bar, you vote for them and nobody else does, because nobody else knows. If they don't practice in front of them, they don't know if they're any good or not.
I think that form of government is called the technocracy, where you just like you vote for like whoever is technically like applicable for the role, and you have to be a person who is like studying that.
Listen, I think the other thing that they need to do in this country is put in. This is going to be ageism, right? Put a limit on your age that you can run for
So okay, so
a political office.
do you feel that Biden should be allowed to run again?
No,
Okay.
I don't
honestly,
think he should have run in the first place.
listen. The problem is,
that's
listen,
called age discrimination.
If you have wait, how old do you have to be to run for president? Okay, somebody's going to know this. I think it's 35, right?
35.
Okay, that's what I thought. 35. and it's a different age for Senate and Congress. It's not 35 across the board.
Yeah, for Senate and Congress, it's like 27 or 25.
Okay, 28. So if they're going to have limits, if they're going to have
A
if
floor,
they're going to have
yeah.
a floor, why can't you have a roof? Right? I mean, the fact of the matter is Biden, listen, I'm sure the guy has a good heart. Okay. And I voted for him instead of Trump because I couldn't deal with Trump for another 4 years. Okay. I just couldn't deal with it. But the guy, when he thinks there's 54 states in the US, okay, or he thinks that there's 2 words and he actually says 3 words. I mean, there's a problem there. And people go, "Oh, he's always been like that." I go,
Well, there's a bigger problem.
That's the bigger problem, right?
Wait, 54 states. We have to double back here.
He said 54 states. He said 54 states about something. He said, "Oh, the United States is great, 54 states or whatever."
Listen, I mean,
Okay.
I don't.
And I
have,
could have been a slip of the tongue.
I
okay?
have mixed feelings about this because I have a friend that's actually an attorney and he's well in his 80s.
Yeah.
And this gentleman is actually as sharp as a razor, has a memory of a of
Okay,
an
well, there
elephant.
could be somebody 21 that's sharp as a razor,
Yeah,
but
so-
they're not allowed to run for president or for Congress or for or House or Senate.
Well, because one could argue that they just haven't experienced enough and they've gone through enough to have that.
Oh,
And
listen, I know people that are 24 years old that are shitloads smarter than I am. Okay, that doesn't mean that's not saying a lot, by the way. Okay, so let's go through the official ballots. Okay.
Don't forget, you want to
these
talk about Kanye a little bit, and you're running out of time. You got 10 minutes left.
Oh, I don't care. We'll talk about Kanye in a different show. Kanye, can you keep your mouth shut? Okay,
There you go.
you're embarrassing. Do you want to talk about Kanye?
No,
instead of this?
I just mentioned it because I know you were kind of
there's
pissed
a
off
bunch of
about it.
amendments here. Listen, there's one that says,
Let's talk about the amendments real quick.
which is the one I want to talk about.
But is it too late for me to move to a Palmetto Bay to vote?
Yeah. Okay. Referendum to approve ad valorem levy for teachers, instructional personnel, student safety, and security.
Oh yeah, this is
Okay.
I know
this is.
about this one.
I want to vote for this. I did vote for this actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall the school board of Miami-Dade County levy 1 mil of ad valorem taxes for school operational purposes, continue improving compensation for teachers, instructional personnel, and improve student safety? I mean, come on, it's our kids, for God's sakes.
You know what you should
Seriously?
have done? You should have actually done a show where you went through the ballot and you actually helped explain.
Well, that's what
That's
I was.
something
That's what I was going to do today, but
Oh,
with you
sorry.
here, I could never do it. Okay, the other one. So vote. I'm voting yes for that. Okay, because listen, our kids of today are
David's
our
voting
future.
off the show. Yeah, no, I agree.
Our kids
Yeah.
of today are our future of tomorrow, and that's why I don't understand what's wrong with the educational system in this country. Okay, charter amendment requiring voter approval for changes to governing structure of the county transportation assets. I have no idea what the. Oh, there it was. They're switching. Yeah. Shall the charter be amended to provide the active board of county commissioners to transfer ownership or governing authority of the Miami International Airport, Port Miami, and Miami-Dade Expressway Authority must be approved by a majority of vote of the qualified electors in Miami-Dade County? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Really?
Let's leave it. Let's leave it to the.
You want to push it? It's going to push to the state, right? Or,
No, we're gonna.
Or you're gonna leave it?
Yeah. No, it's gonna be its own. It's gonna be its own. It's gonna be its own authority. Well, we'll have to read what it says this is voting to vote. This is
Yeah.
voting yes. We want to vote on it later
Yeah,
on in
yeah.
the future. So you got to figure it out, which is ridiculous. Actually, why don't they just put the thing on the ballot now? That's 2 votes for the same thing. Shall the county charter be amended to require that county commissioners and county mayor, upon taking office, swear and affirm that they will support, protect, defend Miami-Dade's home rule charter? Absolutely. You know why? Because Palmetto Bay doesn't follow Palmetto Bay does not follow Miami-Dade's homeroom charter, and a bunch of the other municipalities don't do it, and the home rule charter is basically saying, you know what it means, that Miami-Dade County is in charge of everything, okay, except for these few things, and then the municipalities can decide on their own. I mean, it's crazy. One of the things that I talked about a year ago was Miami-Dade County makes any kind of vendor that comes into a park show an ID and do a background check, right? So kids' safety.
And I remember you mentioned this.
And
Palmetto Bay
so
does
yeah,
that.
Palmetto Bay doesn't.
Yeah.
So you could have these farmers markets. You have a whole bunch of vendors there. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? 54 includes territories of Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands, Guam. Oh, see, but they're not states, are they?
They're not states.
So he should have said 54 territories.
Well,
actually-
because the states are, I don't think they're territories.
No, oh, that's right. I don't know.
Well,
Whatever it is. Okay, thank you for clearing that up.
54 whatever's.
What's the other ones?
Fair
How
enough.
much time we have?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. Okay, let's talk about our buddy.
Oh, now
Okay, we got 5 minutes to talk about our buddy.
I knew he had some passion about Kanye.
No, I mean, I got to tell you something. No, because we talked about it. We talked about it at the beginning, right?
But to wrap up on the election, I really would like to see one elected official support education, healthcare, and prison reform. I would like somebody to actually speak up.
What are they going to do about the prison reform?
First
First of all, they should let anybody who's in jail who got caught smoking pot should be released. Okay? And the people who commit crimes and get like murder and attempted murder and assault and battery, and if they get a 30-year sentence, they should spend 30 years in jail. Not 15, by the way.
Yeah, well,
And by the way, if it's the U.S. government, right, that gives you a 30-year sentence, the U.S. government, okay, I'm not talking about state or local.
Yeah.
U.S. government keeps you in there for 30 years. They don't give you time off for good behavior.
well, but,
You're in there for 30 freaking years.
well, then again, but that means now you don't believe in any reform. But I think first of all, we should try to keep people out of prison. That's number one. I think we should first of all prevent folks from going to prison and find out what we can do. Free education.
Oh, you're not one of these guys that
Free
want to
education?
defund the police, are you?
No, not at all.
Okay, because
No.
if it was up to me, we'd have a bigger
No.
police force.
But at the same time, I also believe
Liam's one that says, "Oh, let's defund the police."
I'll give you one example.
He's one of those kids.
I'll give you one example so we can go back to Kanye.
Yeah.
And I've said this, and I may have said this to you before. If you take any kind of bird, stick him in a cage for 3 years, and then put him back out in the wild, what are the chances of survival?
So what do you believe
everybody-
in punishment?
No, so my understanding. Okay, all I'm saying is that there's a problem in the system and it doesn't work. If you take a person, a functional human being, put him in a box.
You know what the problem is? They think you're sending somebody to jail is going to reform them. Sending somebody to jail, okay, should be a punishment.
Yeah.
It's not about reforming.
Well,
okay, if
okay.
you want to sit there and take some college classes while you're in jail, or high school classes and get your GED,
So no.
I'm all for it. But when you're in jail, they got to tell you you're in jail, and you're in jail, and you're in jail, and it's punishment.
No, yes, there's a punishment. So that would make sense if you felt like somebody who did get arrested for smoking pot deserved to be in the same system as somebody who got arrested for murdering a family.
But you're not. They have different jails are ranked differently. You have you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 jails. So if you commit a heavy duty crime, a violent crime, you're in one jail. And if and if it's just smoking pot, you're in a jail that has lesser type issues. I mean, lesser.
Yeah. Well, I mean, should you even be in jail for smoking pot, though?
No, that's why I'm saying everybody's in jail for smoking pot.
Okay, but
everybody, if they took everybody out and they released everybody in jail that drugs, okay, whatever the hell it is, as long as you're not selling like five tons of coke, okay, for getting caught using drugs, okay, they let everybody out.
Okay,
the real criminals could stay there a lot longer.
But I got to pause you there because there's a problem with that statement also. Now, there's also a theory, and there's some actual truth behind this. A lot of people who are on drugs, who are addicted to drugs, out on the street will cost you more than behind bars. So that person who has got a drug addiction, who can't hold a job, who needs money for their next fix, is going to come and rob you or break in your car.
Then you go to jail for robbery, not for smoking pot.
Yeah. Well,
okay, but
listen, anybody who's there for drugs, because you made a general statement of anybody who does drugs.
I honestly.
But go back to Kanye because I want to hear about your Kanye.
No, my Kanye thing is. Listen, I got a whole bunch of stuff. Kanye's nuts.
We have like 1 minute left.
Oh, we got 1 minute. Okay, we're gonna. I tell you what. I got one more show for the. We'll talk about Kanye more at the next show. Okay, because the next show we're only going to be doing like 20 minutes on the election. So the next show we'll pick up on Kanye. But I mean, the guy needs mental help. I mean, he really does. I mean, and he shot himself in the foot, shot himself in the head. I mean, the guy used to be worth $1 billion. Now he's lost that. Yeah, he was worth over $1 billion. Now he had to close up his school. That he was running a private school.
I'm actually impressed. I never knew Kanye was worth that much.
Yeah, he had to. Well, you're not a kid.
That's fair.
And he got dropped by Adidas plus his management company and everybody else. I mean, the guy needs to go to some sort of rehab. I mean, if you were or somewhere, right?
I
Maybe he should be committed.
I think Kanye thinks I'm worth $1 billion. I don't care what David Singer thinks.
No. Yeah, I'm sure I'll never be worth $1 billion. No, but Kanye actually has come out and started blaming everybody else and their mother for him for him not being worth $1 billion.
My closing statement is I don't understand why people look up to celebrities as role models in the first place.
I don't know why celebrity. Yeah,
That's just my personal favorite. Why?
and that includes athletes, by the way.
Yeah, no, and again, and I'm not saying this in any negative aspect of it. Not that I have any less respect for an athlete or celebrity, but I don't understand why we're not looking up to teachers, fathers, people out there in the community that actually help others. There's so many other people that you could actually look up to as a role model that you should try to emulate. That I don't understand why people want to gravitate towards a celebrity. It just doesn't make any sense.
Why do people watch those? Why do people watch the Kardashians? I mean, I'd rather have I'd rather have my leg broken in like 20 places than watch the Kardashians or the other ones. What is it? They have the other ones. The rich women that are always on. What the hell's the name of that show?
Some Housewives or something.
Yeah, Housewives of Beverly Hills. Remind me. Thank you. Housewives of Beverly Hills. I mean, you know, TV's gotten to the point where I don't even turn on TV anymore. I watch movies.
Just like not
I do. I watch movies. I watched. But if you want to watch a really depressing movie, watch All Quiet on a Western Front on Netflix. It's a remake of the original film that was filmed, I think, in the 30s or something.
like 30s, 40s. something
Yeah, whatever.
like that. Yeah.
Hitler burned that book. Did you hear when Hitler was burning books? That's one of the books that he burned.
Well, yeah, he didn't want anybody to be against his war.
Yeah, I mean it was a great movie, but it was very depressing. As anybody who watches a movie and doesn't think something like that's depressing, it's like Schindler's List. I watched it once and I said I'd never watch it again. I mean, after you watch that stuff, you want to go literally just hang yourself. Anyway, isn't that great to end the program on?
Seriously.
Thank you.
Doom and gloom.
Thank you. Doom and gloom. Okay. They could only be because Mo's here. Thanks to everybody for watching the show. We'll see you not next Thursday, but the Thursday after, right before the runoffs. And we'll get into the runoffs, and then we'll talk about Kanye West a little bit more. And our
Free education.
that's right.
Free education.
Just think how smart you'd be if you would have gotten free education
Exactly.
instead of having to drop out in 10th grade. Anyway, okay, guys, thanks. Roll the. Can we play